Marty, 15 executive orders on day one. Does this give us the tone and the speed at which, President-elect, soon-to-be President Biden wants to go?
All right, Shalom. Giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. Peace and salutations unto the Achiam, the brothers pushing this truth throughout the four corners of the earth in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever, to the scattered, speckled Israelites who be scattered among the heathen. I say Shalom. I say Shalom unto the few unfaithful Akwat, the sisters listening and learning. This is your brother Yerushalayim from the GMS Prophetic Vibrations Camp out of Trinidad and Tobago, coming at you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Right? Now, this video will be entitled Sweeping Executive Orders to Come. Because the first thing that the President Biden has done, after his inauguration, is basically to enact 15 to sign off on 15 executive orders, on his first day. All right, so let's just play through this video. I'll just explain. We go through some precepts, and I have one other little article to do, and that'll be the end of the video. Okay, let's play this video.
Yeah, I think it does, Francine, and it's very...
Marty, 15 executive orders on day one. Does this give us the tone and the speed at which, President-elect, soon-to-be President Biden wants to go?
Yeah, I think it does, Francine, and it's very interesting, the difference between this administration and the previous administration. There was a full briefing for reporters in advance. It was all held under embargo. Questions were answered. This is quite different from governing by Twitter.
Okay, what's most significant? So when you have these 15 executive orders, and we understand through aides of Joe Biden that this is more day one executive actions than any of his predecessors, what will actually change for the American economy? What's the most significant thing that the president will do today?
Well, a lot of those things that are truly significant he's not going to be able to do by executive order. A lot of these things are symbolic gestures. For instance, the immigration reform is extremely controversial. He is putting it as legislation before Congress.
Yeah, which is nonsense, because those executive orders override, all this override eventually the Senate, right? And override the legislative arm. All right, these executive orders are literally sweeping, just as they term it sweeping orders. What does a broom do? It sweeps. All right, it sweeps away what was there before. All right, so they're just trying to cover up. Right, but really and truly we understand that, hey, these executive orders, they take precedence. All right, I've done previous videos before. With that book, Satan's Angels Exposed, going through the different executive orders and what they entail, and the sort of powers that it gives the leader, whoever's in charge, literally dictatorship powers. All right, so let's continue the video here.
But there's going to be a pitch battle over that one, and there are the actions on the wall and the actions on Paris Climate Accord probably don't have an immediate impact on the economy.
Marty, it is a day of symbolism, and obviously this is a key word for this new administration, unity as well. Dick Durbin of Illinois is looking for some form of conversation with Republicans. What is the Schenker calculus of how we get to unity on Capitol Hill?
Well, I think one of the first things they have to do in terms of showing unity is figuring out how to actually undertake the impeachment trial of President Trump, who, as we all know, is leaving office at noon today.
All right, I think we had enough of that. All right, so basically what they're doing is Operation Warp Speed continues. All right, they're gonna come in fast, fast and hard. All right, so Trump was holding back. Biden is following the full agenda of the elites. All right, so he's going to come in like a, with wrath. All right, as the scriptures say, he'll come in like a flood. Right, one of the first things he did was also bringing back or joining back to the World Health Organization, which is a known Illuminati organization, right? With he and Tony Fauci, all right, which some countries have separated themselves outright from the World Health Organization, realizing that they were up to no good, all right. He was also speaking about what sort of tactics they have to unify the people. One of the key tactics or the key ways they're trying to especially to deceive Jake is by bringing in that woman, Kamala Harris, saying that she had a Jake father, but historically speaking, we know that the Israelite woman, has always been the enemy of the Israelite man. Hence the scripture Micah 7:10. She that is my enemy, right? And when you go back to Genesis, all right, Genesis 3:1, because this is symbolic, all right. This is symbolic because this here having a female Jake, or having an Edomite president, and having a female Jake, just take us back to the garden, all right, to the Eden, all right, because as a covenant that the woman made with the serpent, all right. This is Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai had made. And let's go into that word subtle, all right. Yeah, they're truly subtle, shrewd, crafty, sly, sensible, and that's what these foolish jakes can't understand, because they were vilifying Trump, Trump's outright, but this guy, you can see that he's a snake. If you just look at his face, he's very subtle, all right. So when we go into the etymology, it says to be subtle, be shrewd, be crafty, beware. Take crafty counsel, and that's symbolic. Crafty counsel, that goes back to Psalm 64. Alright, be prudent. So the snake was very prudent. Alright, and he said unto the woman, Yea, hath the Most High said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High hath said, Ye shall not eat it, neither shall ye touch it, lest he die. Now, you all know the ending of the story, so it's just a replay of that. Alright? It's a replay of the Tuskegee experiments. Alright? When they used Eunice Rivers to kill all those those so-called Negroes, those so-called black men, the Israelite men. Alright? And these Paris agreements that he's bringing back, he's joining back or putting into effect, is basically, a background that they're basically about global warming. All right, they're based on the UN framework for convention on climate change. All right, and on reducing the global world temperature by 2 degrees, I believe. All right, so basically it's a lot of economic and social changes. It's based on a 5-year cycle of radical change. Radical change, which means serious change. Because they're changing this place from a democracy, the so-called democracy, which goes back to the demon rule, to a socialist state, a new world order state, right? The whole world, all right. So basically, this Paris Agreement going to provide a framework for the financial, technical, and capacity building support, right? Which ties into what, it ties into everything that they've been standing for, right? So financial, we going into what, we're going into crashing the economies of the world, all right. To bring in that microchip, right? Technical, that's their transhumanism and capacity building support. They want to help the poorer countries, so-called poorer countries to get up to mark with their technology and, and their infrastructure, because this thing is no longer going to be about America. It's going to be about the whole world, right? So they're going to try to help out those countries who need, because some countries are not up to par. So, he what he's doing, he had to have all the countries up to the same standard for his new system to work, his new system of government, his new world order. Alright? This Paris Agreement also hinges on, in 2024, they set this target that, countries have to report on the various action that they've taken. Alright? The collective progress is to be addressed through a global stocktake. And that word stocktake it's important, to note, because, when you talk stock take, you have to understand that stock is an asset, right? Usually stock is in the balance sheet, it's an asset in the balance sheet, stock is something that is owned, all right? So why would they use a term like that, if every country, is what we would say independent of one another, right? So that's not what they want. This whole Paris Accord, this whole thing is about the new world order, setting up the new world order, which is why he so quickly put that into place, or just raise that topic and say that they're going to implement and they're gonna take part in the Paris Accords, all right? They said it's going to lead to recommendations to in 2024 to countries to set more ambitious, which mean more draconian plans, all right? And you may ask about the stock, why is it owned? Why is they owned? How do they own the stock? How do they own other countries? How can they do this? Because this is based on the debt, all right? The debt financing that the IMF and the World Bank has been, steadily lending to countries, during the lockdowns, all right, to artificially keep the world economies afloat, all right? But this lending, of course, comes with strict, and draconian conditions that must be met by the various governments, world governments taking the loans, all right? And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. They're all about that, So they may take the loans now just to survive, but in the long term, you have to fulfill criteria. What at the end of the day, these elites, they own you. They literally own the countries. They own the people of the countries, everything. All right. So before I go into the article, I'm just gonna cut back to this book, because I'm gonna go through a couple of the let's read over a couple of the executive orders that that Trump would have put in place during his tenure. But I'm gonna go back to the book Satan Angels Exposed. I'm gonna go to page 219. Let's see, 219, 218. Yeah. Alright, because this book is prophetic, It's a book that the Apostle Tehad recommended. Alright, this is page 219, Satan Angels Exposed. The tragedy of Executive Order 11921 is one example, right? Perhaps you do not realize that the U.S. government can freeze your bank account. The president now has the power to announce the existence of a national emergency via Executive Order 11921, made in June 15, 1976, and number 11490 in October 30, 1969, and other executive orders. These orders have behind them the force of the law. Alright, so all they were talking about, he has to take this. They were saying that Biden has to take it to the parliament, to the legislative arm, this nonsense. But when you pass executive orders, they have behind them the force of law, which could be used to establish a federal dictatorship. Alright? But they have some basically maximum control. Totalitarian government. Right? Under these orders, federal agencies can 1. Control all food supply, so they can manufacture a famine. Control all money and credit, you can't buy and sell. Control all transportation, you can't move around. Control all communication, right? These cell phones we're using, we have to get rid of these things. Control all public utilities, alright? Water, electricity, alright? So on and so forth. All this can come into being by the president merely signing a piece of paper that a national emergency exists. Alright? That sound familiar? It does. That's the situation right now. Alright? Emergency banking regulations. Let me read a bit of this and then I'll stop. Under the emergency banking regulation number 1, if this were to occur, your bank accounts would immediately be frozen. Both checking and saving, you would be prohibited from making any withdrawals of cash. You could be prohibited from writing any checks without the bank's approval, except customary amounts. Verse number 4 says, no checks will be honored by any bank for any unauthorized purpose. And it goes on and on. Alright? Talks about communication, radio transmission, all these things. So these regulations, they can do anything. Let me just read down below here, right? This is page 220. Let's read down below. There are hundreds of regulations included in this emergency powers plan, which includes seizing property, which is what they plan to do in Agenda 21. Alright? You basically will own nothing. Alright? Instituting of martial law, controlling traveling, all which in effect control the lives of American citizens. And not only American citizens, but the citizens of the world. All right, so they have this plan set out, this master plan set out, and these executive orders that they passing, that Jake and the rest of them, 2/3 of Jake and the rest of the heathen, not paying particular attention to, this is what's going to be taken out. They're going to be taking away your freedom. All right, as the apostle went through, he was talking about pressure from on top and pressure from beneath, and that's how they do it. They create this pandemic, all right, and then they create fear among the people. So you have pressure from the people. People want to be free of this thing. They're afraid, all right. They do anything. They'll give up their rights, and that's what this is all about, all right. So let me go to our precept here. Let me go to our precept here in book of Isaiah. Alright, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Alright, these laws, grievous, this guy grievous. Alright, they cause oppression. Alright, and they're unrighteous. They're wicked, in the sight of the Lord. Alright, going down to the unclean things that in that job. Alright, that job that they want the people to take in their arm. Alright, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Right? And that's what they really want to do. That's what this is all about. These draconian laws. Alright? Now let's go to Psalms 94 and verse 20, right? Psalms 94 and 20. Right? Shall the throne of iniquity, which is what Esau, the throne of elites, right, have fellowship with thee? Yeah, you all do the 2/3, they believe in Esau's system, right? They're leaning on that, on Pharaoh. Right? That go back to Isaiah 33 and 6, right? That broken reed is broken because Yahweh Hashem Yahushai said it's broken. Alright? Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee? It doesn't have any fellowship with thee. You're told you're not supposed to be trusting in these people, right? Which frameth mischief by a law. So they frameth mischief by a law, because why? They know what they do. They're gonna come down with great wrath. These laws set up to take away all your rights. These laws set up to kill you. Alright? Put you in captivity and kill you and control you. Alright? Right? Verse 21 says, they gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. But Yahweh is my defense, and my power is the rock of my refuge. So the Lord is our strength at the end of the day. And we know that. Alright? And we know that. We understand all this Paris Agreement talking about greenhouse gases and carbon footprint. Alright? Where they get into with this thing? They get into the microchip. Alright? Because when they're gonna talk about, too much papers being printed and and the paper money, and they go into plastic, and then they'll start to talk about the pollution and the plastic can't degrade. So then what they're gonna go to next too? They're gonna go to the microchip. Alright, that's what it's all about. Revelation 13 and 16. Alright, cryptocurrency and the mark of the beast. Alright? So first they're softening up with this job. And then after they're gonna stick you with that microchip. Alright? And that's basically what it is about. Okay? So I'm gonna go through actually a couple of the executive orders that President Trump would have passed. Is for example, let me see. Executive Order 13962, ensuring access to U.S. governments, via the max. I'm talking about the job. Executive Order 13960, preventing the use of trustworthy artificial intelligence in federal government. Alright, so what they're making the artificial intelligence legal. The machines, the robots, the Terminator robots that they have for you. Alright, the drones. Alright, the intelligence they're going to use to search out and find Jake. Alright. Another one is Executive Order 13955, establishing 1 trillion trees. Right, and that goes back to the no more paper money. Alright. Executive Order 13944, combating public health emergencies. Alright, like we're in right now. Strengthening national security by ensuring essential medicines, medical countermeasures, and critical impacts. Alright. And this executive order is, it's going into social media. Executive Order 13942 addressing the threat posed by TikTok and taking additional steps to address national emergency with respect to information and communication technology and services supply chain. And that's going into the, them taking down these social platforms, famine of the word, Amos 8 and 11. Alright? And one last one I'll mention is Executive Order 13906, which is reviving the National Space Council, because he realized that, with all the chariots they see now, they're getting frightened. They realize they had to fly the coop, so they'll try to get away. So they had to revive the Space Council, just to make sure that they're up to mark, or they think that they'll be up to mark. All right. So let's go to this article here. I have here. All right. Biden to deploy FEMA National Guard to set up COVID, all right, the V clinics across America, across the U.S. All right. So the president-elect plans to use these FEMA National Guard to build the V clinics across the states, right? And to jumpstart efforts, right? And all the word jumpstart, it is jumpstart, efforts. It means they're gonna do it quickly, right? President-elect Joe Biden plans to use FEMA National Guard to build V clinics across America, and of course they're also gonna build these concentration camps, right? That's what they're gonna be building, all right? Which will ensure Americans have access to doses of facilities not far from their homes, right? Here's the deal: the more people we V, the faster we do it, right? The sooner we can save lives and put this pandemic behind us and get back to our lives and loved ones, Biden said in his speech, right? In Wilmington, Delaware, Thursday night. We won't get out of it overnight, and we can't do it as a separate union, And I have a precept for that, because that they really gonna do this thing fast, all right? And the scripture said that it's Revelation 12 and 12. They know they have a short time, all right? Revelation 12 and 12 says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, which is the so-called is Esau, the so-called white man, is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that you have but a short time." Yeah, they know they have a short time, so they're gonna come down with great wrath. All right, they're really gonna come down with great wrath. So hey, we know what's gonna take place here. So don't wake up from sleeping. All right, these few of you who Lord gonna wake up in this time. All right, that's really what's gonna go on. So let's jump back here. All right. Drugstore chains and pharmacies are supposed to take on a larger role in distributing the V once the government expanded access to more people. But a slower than expected rollout has frustrated pharmacy chains. And and that's the same thing they're doing in Trinidad here in Tobago here. They've been all of a sudden you can get the flu shot in the pharmacy. All right. They come into your workplace to give you the flu shot. All right. So this is part of the whole infrastructure program. Let's jump down here. The group estimated that the country's retail pharmacies can administer at least 100 million doses of V each month. All right. So do you think about that? So which means what? They want to get the whole population in a couple months. All right. Which would exceed the national administration promise of 100 million shots in 100 days. All right, because that's what he was getting at. That's what he was talking about, his goal. All right, that was his goal. The Biden administration has said current V efforts are not sufficient to quickly and equitably V the vast majority of the population. We must ensure that those on the ground get what they need, have what they need to get the V into people's arms. So they're so hurried to get in your arms. That poison. All right. All right, the pace of the V in the U.S. is much slower than officials hoped. All right, as of Friday, more than 31.1 million doses of V has been distributed across the U.S., but just over 12.2 million shots have been administered. All right, so you see the difference. It's moving slower. All right, and of course, these deaths are hoax, and I won't even go through those numbers. It's all lies anyway. All right, let's see. Let's jump down here. I don't know, waste too much time. I'll make this video too long. Alright. Yeah, let's talk about the shortage of this stuff here by the end of right. Yeah, by the end of Biden's first month in office, the administration plans to have 100 federally supported. So you hear federally supported. So when you talk federally supported, they're gonna have troops there as well too, across the nation that will ultimately V millions of people. And as governments of both parties have asked, our administration will reimburse states 100% when their National Guard is deployed. So you see, they're going to deploy the National Guard, the same scripture already, and they come down with great wrath. They're going to come down with great wrath, right? In the fight against the V. Now if it was so if the new people would if they were doing this by choice, why would they have to deploy the National Guard? All right, it just shows you, the hypocrisy of Esau. All right. So Biden's plan, I'll jump down from there. They just they want to V everybody. Right, the CDC on Tuesday issued new guidelines that expanded V eligibility to everyone aged 65 and older, as well as those with comorbid conditions such as diabetes. Right, so they want to kill off those people who are sick. Some 53 million Americans who are 65 and older, 110 million people between 16 and 64 with comorbid conditions are now eligible to receive the V in every state, if every state adopts it. So they just want mass death, man. That's what they want, right? So that's all Esau is about, man. Death, all right? Biden said the administration also plans to launch a public information campaign to rebuild that trust. Foolishness. All right. We'll help people understand what science tells us, that the V can help reduce the C-19 infections and can better safeguard our health, which is a lie, right? Because we know, I did in a previous video, talking about that it's not exactly, it's not actually a V, it's not a cure, all right? It's actually a treatment, and the treatment is insert that pathogen into your system, the live pathogen into your system, which will make you sick, all right? It might take a while with some people. When it works in there, you're gonna die, and it affects every cell in your body at a DNA level, eliminating the GOR gene, the VMAT2 gene, affecting your pineal gland, destroying the whole foundation, which is your cells and your DNA. And that goes back to Psalms 11, all right? Or you can destroy the foundations of the righteous, Our plan is as clear and as it is bold, he added. All right, so you see now, they've been clear what they want to do. Get more people V for free, create more places for them to get V'd, mobilize more medical teams to get the shots in people's arms, all right? Increase supply and get it out the door as soon as possible. This will be one of the most challenging operations efforts ever undertaken by our country. But you have my word, we will manage the hell out of this operation. Yeah, he's going to manage, you're sure right, he's going to manage the hell out of the operation. All right? He's definitely going to do that, and this thing that they created here, this whole plan that they created here, all right, to max people, this whole plan of putting on a mask and using double mask, making the mask mandatory, all right, and then targeting, they said they're going to target the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, right, who the apostles been preaching for years, the Israelites, all right, they say they have to get in those neighborhoods, and they have to get it first, all right, so you better wake up fast. All right, may the Lord destroy this place quickly. All right, you have to remember, all who take that stuff, according to Revelation 16 and 2, swords going to burst out on his skin. And then Revelation 14 and 9, the destruction of Yahweh Shai is going to come upon you. All right, it's going to come upon you. And this is the wicked plan and the goal of the elite. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. Who owns Big Pharma? Who going to profit off of this thing? Right? Who owns, the elites? There you have it. It's nothing more than that. Alright, so I mean, can't get no any more clear than that. Right now is a time, especially for the men of the Lord, is to give diligence to make a call. Now election sure, as they speed up with their stuff, we had to speed up with our videos, speed up doing the work, doing the spiritual work, get fast and get yourself in order, right? Because basically what's gonna happen here is not gonna be nice. Alright, let me just see if I can get a precept here. Because most of them think that Biden is a piece of cake. Alright? First Thessalonians 5 and 3. See if I could get that. Alright. Okay, this is First Thessalonians 5 and 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, alright, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And the scripture said, Esau is the sword of the Lord. So that all that is happening to 2/3 for the wickedness, for their wickedness. That they wouldn't repent. They heard the word and they wouldn't hear. They wouldn't repent. They wouldn't change their ways. Alright? So when they say in peace and safety with this man Biden, he's gonna destroy them. Alright? That's what that's going into. Alright, so let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 58. I'll start at verse 2. Yea, in heart ye work wickedness, ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. That's Esau, the hands is the power. Alright, they are the wicked. Esau is the wicked. Esau, Edom. The wicked are estranged from the womb. Alright, and estranged from the womb. To be a stranger, but no, it's going on to being strange, another stranger, an enemy. They are our enemies from the womb. They are loathsome. Alright? They're wicked from the womb. It's like how Jake is born with a righteous spirit. They're born with evil and wicked. Right? They are evil from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. And that goes into the laws, the draconian laws, and all this smooth talk. Right? They're poisonous like the poison of the serpent. They're like the deaf adder that stop at the ear. And that poison go back to, if they are the serpent, that poison go back to the fangs. And the poison that they inject into you. He's talking about injecting into your arm. That's that poison. Alright? And let me go to Psalms again. Psalms 55 and 21. Alright? The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, which war was in his mind. His words were softer than oil, yet they will draw swords. Esau's the sword of the Lord. He's speaking so smoothly. Biden speaking so smoothly. Alright? But war in his heart. His words softer than oil, and it caressing and going down the throat, the ears of the 2/3, nice and easy. Sweet words. That's what they want to hear. Right? But he's gonna kill your ass. He's gonna kill you. Alright? Psalms chapter 10 from verse 3. The wicked boasted of his heart's desire, and blessed the covetous whom Yahweh abhorreth. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. And that's true. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. Is your Lord, the Lord's law. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. And we are his enemies, right? He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. Right? For I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Alright, so that's what's going on. And this tongue is mischief and vanity. Lies, really. Alright? Lies. All lies. Yeah, so he said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Right? So it's lies. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the village, in the secret places that he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor, which is who? Jake. Israel. Alright? And as we keep on saying, Sirach 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy. Alright? Never trust thine enemy. Alright? Never trust thine enemy, The Lord is gonna in this time, the Lord is gonna lift up a standard, when they come in like a flood. The Lord is gonna lift up a standard, though. So we have to hold the faith. You know, as they say in Habakkuk 2 and 4, you know, let me get that. Habakkuk 2 and verse 4, he said, behold, his soul which is lifted up in him is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Alright? You know? And yeah, if you keep on reading down, I wouldn't read down for that time, but it talks about Esau being a proud man, and it's as death. Alright, let me read it. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, because they want full power and control, they want dominion forever. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So that's the nature of this devil, right? Let's go to Isaiah 59 and verse 19 quickly here. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. So the Lord is going to give us spiritual powers. And as it says in Psalms, these angels of the Lord encampeth around those who fear him. Everybody, all elect men have their guardian angels and elect. That also go back to Job, that hedge that the Lord put around Job, protection from the demons, right? Which working with Esau, Edom, who's the physical counterpart to the left hand side spirits. Alright? Now one more scripture, I'm gonna go to Daniel 12 and verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book of life. Right? And the Lord, we go on to say, verse 4 says, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words. Alright, Salakia. Let me it's such Salakia. So I'll leave that there. But basically it says, as it says in the book of 2nd Ezra, I believe there, the 2nd Ezra, it was the 2nd Ezra 6 or 2. Go down to 3, we'll be run like sparks among the stubble. The Lord going to give us that spiritual power in this flesh. Somebody men of the Lord. Alright, so for you who playing the fool and who on the line, the Lord don't deal with lukewarm. Alright? Lord don't deal with hot. It's hot he dealing with, so you have to be hot for the word, Give diligence to make a call on election sure. And one more precept I'll read here in the book of Sirach 5 and 7. Make no tarrying to turn to Yahweh, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of Yahweh come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. Alright? So I want to thank or give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai for giving me the spirit to do this video. I pray that it has been edifying. Alright, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai once again. Wa abad babal shalom.